All right, guys, we're back for round five's review for the Supercoach 2023 season. Just to get it off the bat, sorry if my voice sounds a little bit raspy. Lost it kind of last night. Yeah, a lot of yelling. Get into it though. 24-23 the score. Huge week. Desperately needed this for the season. As you can see, not a bad round rank in the top 550. That's pretty good. Went up 24k, which just it needed to happen at some point. Still pushing for. I do want to finish the season top 3k, round about there. I think that's just given the way everything's gone. I think it's fair enough. But yeah, we'll get into it. I already tried before. Trades aren't working. Herald Sun, this website's not the best ever. It barely works half the time. But yeah, so we've got Dawson here. He was actually the vice captain, and I did loop him with Madden and stuff, but I think I had like Dunkley or something captain, which was fine enough. No, it would have been Stewart. So Dawson was very, very good. Was he the highest scorer? No, Neil had like 170. Yeah, he was really good. So Adelaide are just feeding him the ball. He does whatever he wants. He's probably like a top 10 player in the comp right now, just because of like responsibility and what he's actually allowing the team to do. But yeah, probably the best kick in the comp, top 10 to 15, something like that type of player. I should have started him. Thank God for Doherty being injured because it got me to him. Nick Dacos, 128. Another good week for him. It looks down because it's like under 130 and he's dropped to 130s the last couple of weeks. But he's still so good. Like, what do you have this week? Like 38 touches, something around about. Let's see. That's a lot of touches. I'm not doing the math, but yeah. Over 40 touches, 42 touches. Nick Dacos pretty good. He's probably the leader in Brownlow votes at the moment, I'd imagine. Tom Stewart was another trade in, so Will Day did end up getting 2 weeks, which sucks. But the MRO sucks. They have ruined football already this year because now every dangerous tackle could be multiple weeks off instead of just being, some of them, if you really make an emphasis on driving the head in, like during the tackle, like driving the head into the ground, then it's a week. Now, any tackle can basically be 2 weeks. So, yeah, that's kind of messed up. I would not be surprised if Tom Green misses a week now, even though his hit was super light and he landed on his shoulder, not his head. If you watch it and pause it, you'll see he lands on his shoulder and rolls up. Has nothing to do with his head. It shouldn't have even been classed a dangerous tackle. But yeah, Stewart was really good. They completely destroyed the Eagles, which everyone knew was going to happen. I thought his score wasn't going to be as good, just simply because I thought, okay, they're going to win by 100. He'll barely touch the ball, but Eagles kind of got a couple of points late, so it helped him out. Stocko, again, was alright. He's probably been one of the more consistent guys. Like, his scores aren't anything crazy. 78, averaging 75 on the year. Nothing crazy, but, like, does the job. Jinby, he was fine, I thought, when he was playing. It's just in the third, he copped a poke to the eye, and because he was already meant to be rested this week, which I would have preferred he did get rested, to be honest. Just because, like, if you're a West Coast fan, you knew we were going to get smashed this game. Whereas versus Port, I'd say there's a chance. Maybe not in Adelaide, but I don't know. Versus Geelong, we were never a shot to win. So I would have rested him and then bring up someone else, but they didn't. He copped a poke to the eye. Then they decided to rest him. So yeah, he'll be fine for next week. But with a break even of 81, he might be a trade out. If you're looking to upgrade this week, and you have the trades and the cash to do it, I'd look at him, see if maybe it's time to offload him. McKenna wasn't as good as he's been, but he was still fine. 25 break even, still not high for him. He's probably got another game or two. Let's see what are his scores like. Yeah, so the 86 is going to be in the system for one more game, and that will keep his break even relatively low. Probably jump up to say like a 40 break even, and then after that you'd probably have to get rid of him. Cowan, not good, and he's still hitting his break even, but like he's just not very good. The only reason I went Wilmot out is because I wanted the money for Tom Stewart and Dawson. I wasn't gonna make the trade. I would have just held Day if that was the case, and just been like, well, season's over. Just hold him and have a look at it in 2 weeks. But so I went Wilmot out, but neither of them were touching the field, so it doesn't really matter. Cowan's price is just died. He'll probably make it to like 220k, and that's it. Midfield, Laird was good, very good actually. I thought he was a little underscored, but when you have Dawson at 150, it probably makes sense that he's 135. Bont 145. From the little bit of the first half I watched, this looked like it was going to be a 200 game from Bont. But yeah, I guess the rain and stuff made it drop down a little bit. I can't say I watched the second half. I went to go watch a movie instead. Tom Green was okay. I've been seeing this talk about, his scores dropped every week. So it shows like last year he can't keep up a big score. But I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. The 134 versus Adelaide was pretty deserved. He had heaps of touches. He was kind of robbed in the Essendon game, but then his efficiency wasn't good. And then this week it was all handballs. That's why the score's lower. If this was a bit more even, like the kind of spread you want to see, he would have scored a lot higher. He probably would have been around about a 110. Because he had good tackle numbers. Didn't have a goal though, so I guess that's the thing. Tom Green, there's nothing to worry about there. He's still probably a top 10 midfielder. Rosie is good. He keeps getting screwed by having to spend so much time on the bench. Last week it was because because of the injury, like the head assessment thing. This week it was just because whatever reason he was like 53% at halftime, which was so stupid. If there was ever like a Hinkley out thing, then not playing your best player, should be part of that. Setterfield, he's still doing the job. I don't think it was ever really a keeper. I don't think the discussion was ever really there. He's just very good for helping upgrades later on. So he's still averaging 101 because of the high score. Break even of 80. I was really hoping it would have dropped. Because it was pretty high last week, but I was hoping it would have dropped. I mean, you could look at trading him this week. If it gets you to like a Camilla or Josh Kelly, or a Bont or a whatever the hell, wouldn't go for Oliver. He's 700k. His price is gonna drop. Just let it drop and pick him up for like 650 or even less. I don't think Setterfield's too bad a trade out. Hopper's still got a couple of weeks on him before you trade him out. 115 this week was pretty good. He did look alright as well. Tuning in like bits and pieces there at the Richmond game. He looked alright. He's kind of outperforming his price a little bit, especially in the average. Like the average is kind of wrong because of the low game to start the year. But yeah, he's playing alright. I like that. Ashcroft was pretty good. This game was so boring, I didn't watch it longer than like 5 minutes. It was Brisbane smashed them. Like, I don't even know if you can be happy that they won because they kicked 20 behinds, which is such a Brisbane thing to do. Yeah, Ashcroft is good. He keeps making money. His break even is not crazy yet, I don't think. Yeah, 44. Yeah, he's probably going to hold down like 7, 8, 9, somewhere between there for the rest of his cash in cycle. Oscar Baker is someone I'm looking to move on this week because he kind of sucks. 46 break even. He is the type of guy that misses that, so might be time to move him on. Mackenzie's lost money because he was the sub and he came on late, which, god damn, I knew it was going to happen. As soon as I saw the team list and saw that he was the sub, I was like, he's coming on with like 5 minutes in the fourth. It ended up being a little bit more than that. How many minutes did he actually play? This doesn't show minutes, does it? 43 minutes. Didn't feel like that much, but whatever. Yeah, probably have to move him on now, but the problem is there's no downgrade targets at the moment. There's a couple of guys on one game, but none of them look too good. Corey Warner, I thought would look okay. Didn't. Corey Wagner. Wagner from Freo. Thought he might look okay because he's got kind of like an everywhere kind of skill set. He can play halfback, he can play wing, he can play midfield, he can play a bit of forward. He did not look too good, and I think he was playing small forward. So yeah, not good from him either. Dylan Williams is probably the only guy you've got, but I don't know how long he's going to keep his spot in the Port team. I guess they've won with him. It's just I don't think Ken's going to think it's because of him. Ken's ego will say it's because of Ken's coaching, not because of any player. Davey got a rest game, which is fine, to be honest. And then Ralston was the sub, but came on, got some points. It's whatever. Ralston just kind of sits on the bench, does what he wants. I don't ever really want to be fielding him. I think last week I had to, just because of the way the weekend was set up, but I don't really ever want to field him. Just let him hit the cash numbers. He's at 27. If he can drop a 50 or a 60, something like that, it will be pretty good for his cash in. It will like lock in him hitting like say 210, which is good enough for someone that was like minimum price. Darcy, Marshall were good. Probably the first week where both have been really good. I thought Marshall was kind of underscored, but in saying that, he should have played better. Collingwood don't have a ruckman, so the fact that he was getting shut down by like Ash Johnson, so that I don't know. I think Marshall's still underperforming this year. I don't think it's a trade. His ownership is still crazy high, so if you trade him out and then he goes off, you're behind the 8 ball super far. So just kind of deal with it and with the mindset of everyone else is dealing with these scores as well, and just try to get better scores around him. Darcy he's back into like Shrek mode, so everyone traded him out after the North game, which is fair. 41 is a bad score, and he did not look good. Freo looked horrid. These 2 games, Freo looked very bad. They looked bad against West Coast, but they won, so they're kind of getting like a pass on that, even though they shouldn't. They're getting a pass. If West Coast didn't have 20 injuries in the final quarter, then they would have won that game. Against Adelaide, they kind of got beaten pretty badly. Showed that Adelaide just better midfield than them, even though I think Freo on paper should have a better midfield. I don't know. I guess with Dawson in the midfield now, so Adelaide are better. And then Gold Coast. They did beat Gold Coast, but it was close, and Gold Coast kind of looked like they deserved the game a bit more. So, yeah, take what you will from it. Darcy looked alright, though, against Ned Moyle. Yeah, It's Ned Moyle, the lockdown ruckman. Witz should be back next week though. There's no way. I said this last week, but like he should have been back. Typical like interstate team injury reporting. It's so bad. Yeah, I want to say it's because Gold Coast is in Queensland. Queensland's a rugby state that the AFL team just doesn't get enough press on it. But it could also just be an injury that flared up late in the week. Forward line was actually pretty good all around, except for Samson Ryan. But yeah, Dunkley was good. Probably his first score that was really a captain score over 130. Yeah, definitely his best score of the year by far. Played really good. Showed that the Neil and Dunkley midfield can work pretty effectively. They have to really play off each other. Taranto was really good. I thought this was one of his better games. He still loves his inefficient kicking, but he just tacks it forward so much. Cornelio should have gone a bit higher. He was at like 55 in the start of the second. So this is the second game. The West Coast game should have been a 150. This one should have been like 120 roundabout. Yeah, he's still dropping crazy amounts of cash. Considering I hate thinking about it, but like I didn't start Errol, who's at the same price as what Cogs is now. Like Cogs was then, and Cogs is the price now of what Errol was. So they've swapped positions. That's great. I love that. Siebel, he was pretty good on the weekend. North got smashed, so probably could have scored a bit better. And then Sheasel, what if we're going to call this his worst game of the year? A worst game is still 100, so from a rookie, yes, super take that. That's brilliant. You love to see it. And then Samson Ryan, the trade-in, I thought he looked okay. I wish he could grab a mark, but in all honesty, he's a rookie, and those were some difficult marks to take, right? I've seen experienced players not being able to take them. I watch Jack Darling every week. He can't take a chest mark. So I'll give him a pass, but I wish he was playing a bit more ruck, because he looks kind of talented, at least as a forward 50 type of ruckman. He looks like he kind of understands it a bit. It's just a tank for it. I think the most ideal version of Samson Ryan, like not even necessarily talking fantasy, would be he's a tall forward that plays a Tom Hawkins ruck style, where the ball's in the forward 50, he taps it to the other tall forward. Hawkins does it heaps. Yeah, I think that's the best version of him. It kind of keeps his stamina good because he's not going around the ground. He's just a forward. But he can also use his size pretty effectively. If Dimmer was to start looking at that, I think we get a very good player out of Samson Ryan. And then on the bench, pretty good scores. Fergus Green, another good game from him. So his cash gen is set now, negative break even though he's at 230k. That's pretty good. Kind of reminds me of like Rochelle and stuff from a couple of years back. And who's the other guy? James Rowe, Jimmy Rowe, something like that. Adelaide player. It was another small forward. He was kind of the same player. Scored bad a couple of weeks, but then would hit a spike game and it would keep his cash gen going. Comben, I'm hoping the same thing happens with him, where he can have these bad ones, but puts up a couple of good scores and it keeps his cash gen rolling. Wouldn't necessarily be against getting rid of, say, Comben this week. But as for trades, I can't do any, because this site doesn't work. There's no filter button, and it's only showing me defenders. So you're like, oh, it's because you're only on defender. I do that, I can't bring in a forward. The site doesn't work. I don't know why it does this, But speaking, like, I guess, metaphorically in trades, I'm looking at Jinby out. I'm looking at Baker out. Uh, Hopefully, I can get a rookie in here. No, I was going to boost, right? So I was, because of how important this week is, there's a lot of premiums that have dropped in cash and a lot that are about to go back up from their drop. It's going to go Jinby, Setterfield, Baker. Setterfield goes up to a 2 Camilla or a Josh Kelly, and then Baker goes to Dylan Williams. But then the problem is I don't have anyone in defense, or like it would be, instead of defense, it would be I move Sheasel back or I move Zeeble back, and then I need a forward that can score some points. There's no one. We can even have a look here. Like, I think Matt Roberts is the rookie that, oh, not rookie, but like rookie pricer that got it, a DPP. I guess we could go over that, like a couple of DPP changes. You saw Zeeble, Sheasel, Jordan Dawson got midfield, which was pretty cool. Yeah, Matt Roberts got forward mid, whereas I think it was just a mid before. This, I don't know if I can do this. It's like, okay, negative 22 break even, pretty good. 129k, it's pretty good. Scored 93, but like, look at these. And he's someone that is always playing as a sub. I did have it open, I closed it. The team lineups for Sydney the last couple of weeks: sub, sub, sub. And then round 4, he didn't play because they picked Robbie Fox as the sub. He only played because both McCartan brothers were out, so they kind of mixed around the team a little bit. There was, I think, 4 outs for Sydney, which are all kind of big players. I don't think he's going to keep his spot. Against Geelong, he could struggle anyway. Like, given the role he's in now, he could still struggle against Geelong. Geelong's not an easy team to score against, especially at GMHBA. And then, like, say you go from him, the filter works on this screen, so let's go 200k. So, like, if a rookie only has 1 price rise, I think you can still hop on him. Seamus Mitchell's another one, but I don't know how, A, if he's going to stay in the team, and B, is his role actually that good? It didn't look that crazy, but maybe if there's no one else, then I guess I just have to go him. Van Rooyen, I guess I should have went him over Samson Ryan, but I like the prospect of Samson Ryan a bit more. I think he can show a bit more over time. Brockman, I'm not really a fan of. I think he's a good player, I just don't think he's too good for Supercoach. Dylan Williams, I said before, I don't think he's going to hold his spot once everyone comes back. Samson Ryan, I've got him. Awaya, I think it's Hawago Paul Awaya. He's not really playing at the moment. Bailey Humphrey, that's not a good score. Sam Sturt's a forward, so he's not going to put up fieldable scores. Corey Warner didn't look too good. Josh Honey didn't look too good. Roberts, like I said. Sexton was the sub. Yeah, just there's not much here. McLean's constant sub. So then it's like, okay, what if I go from midfielder, I move another forward around type of thing. There's no one here either. Luke Edwards is probably a bit too high for what you're getting. For a 60-something average, wouldn't go for it. Ned Long wouldn't do that. And then you're back to the same ones. Wagner, Humphrey, Warner. Johnson, I think, was better than Wagner was, but he also plays a more contested, like a highly contested role at Freo. So, yeah, I don't like him either. Elijah Hewitt, he's not that good. At least not so far. George Wardlaw, I'm waiting for him to debut because I think he's kind of sneaky going to be a good player. But he just hasn't been able to debut yet. I think he's playing the VFL though. And then in the defense, you got Seamus Mitchell again. Tyler Young has been okay, but you already missed the price rises. There's no point hopping on now. Will Gould does exist. He was the sub. I couldn't believe it when I actually saw him on field. I don't think he's actually going to be playing games though. Chesser is bad. He's a bad player. And then, yeah, that's it. So there's not really any downgrade targets. So what you could do is wait and see if Jimmy gets arrested. And if he gets arrested, just field whoever you have on the bench. I'm guessing a lot of people would still have Wilmot. If you could get away with fielding Wilmot for 1 week and then go next week when there's maybe a bit more rookies available, you might be better off doing that. But then you kind of got the problems here. So Mackenzie will probably play next week, and his break even's crazy. Like 89, he's not going to hit unless you just take 1 or 2 price drops for his cash in to just start up again. I don't know. Yeah, that's about it for this week, though. I'm not going to drag it on too long because my voice has already hurt me. I'll see you all next week. Tasty out.